And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Market Recap, Tuesday, August the 2nd still. My name's John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. And another interesting and challenging trading day. I hope you had a good day. I hope you were able to catch a couple of good ones. I know we probably had our losses, but hopefully our wins were much bigger and much better than the losses that we had to take. In the news, it's all over the place, of course, unless you're under a rock somewhere. The Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, is in Taiwan. Again, a lot of high tension in and around this visit. Whatever you think about it, whatever it means, is still yet to be known. But China is certainly ramping up the rhetoric. They're saying the U.S. is going to have to pay for this mistake. China plans now war exercises for Thursday around Taiwan. So the Chinese are obviously very upset about this, and hopefully it's just going to kind of go away, but I doubt it. There will be some ramifications, but of course we are all always hoping for peace and for a safe return for our Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. As far as the Fed members that spoke today, we had Meester said that she doesn't believe that we're even in a recession. And this is a Fed member, maybe a little politicized there, perhaps. But Fed member Daly, he's also stated that their work on inflation is nowhere near done. Just a couple of comments from our talking Feds that we had today. I hope everybody's happy and safe where you are. And, as always, we've got 3 more days this week with which to look for opportunities. Tomorrow, we have a 10-year note announcement. We have a 30-year note announcement. We got a 30-year bond announcement. We got PMI composite final at 8:45 tomorrow, factory orders and ISM service index at 9 o'clock tomorrow, and then, of course, the EIA petroleum status report. We're waiting for the API to come out with their numbers to see what they're thinking as far as crude stocks in the U.S., and right now they're looking at a 467,000 draw in crude. We have to wait again and see about that. As far as crude oil today, the regular trading hour range drags along the weekly kickoff low, waiting for information from the API, the EIA, and the OPEC Plus meeting that's going on right now. Even the S&P and the Nasdaq fall into balance amid a lot of uncertainties, a lot of folks on pins and needles about this trip to Taiwan, awaiting outcomes, and of course we're looking for the unemployment numbers later on this week. Overall, the S&P closed down 27 points. Now these are not official numbers, approximately 2/3%. The Nasdaq down 40 points and basically 1/3 of 1%. The Nasdaq fared the best today as the Dow futures closed down 410. If that's correct now, about 1.25%. So the Dow really took it on the chin today. Gold balances into a higher close, but fails to maintain that higher range late in the session, still continuing to kind of push to the downside. The euro price drops off of that weekly kickoff high considerably as the dollar gets a boost from the job opens and the labor turnover survey from earlier in the session. The 10-year, finally we get a 10-year yield jump. Okay, the yields finally took a jump to the upside, and the 10-year prices all the treasury prices took a drop today. The natural gas overnight move lower seems to have lit the fire for more continuation to the downside. We're going to see all that on the charts here very shortly. As always, thanks for joining me, and make sure you hit the lucky like button, share, comment, question, feedback, heckling, and love are always welcome on the recap. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. You get notifications when we do go live. See a lot of familiar faces here as usual. And again, thank you very much for joining me. Scott saw and he conquered. Tachyon down 106 for the practice account today. It was a good trading day, going the right direction for my trading core. Steps are small, but in the right direction, will compound over longer time frame. Good. Spencer didn't get enough sleep last night, so he refrained from trading this morning. I do hope that you found a couple of good opportunities for yourself as the day went on, Spencer. Good afternoon, Phil. George. Good. Always saying hello to Lacey. My son's home today, so she's probably hanging upstairs with my son Luke. Kyle, good afternoon. Frederico, hope you had a nice day too. I actually did. I ended up having a nice day. Tachyon, getting proper rest before is important. It was one of the factors not trading that got me reset yesterday. Yeah, if you get tired, it's a balancing act for sure. Not only, making sure that you're well rested, making sure that you're well hydrated, that you're well fed, all of those things physically that can affect our mental and decision-making processes are extremely important. Randall, hey, Randall Welton. There's a name that I don't think I've seen before. Randall, if this is your first time here or your first time commenting, glad that you're here and hoping we can help. The Rooster up 750, finished down 780. Another tough day. Well, Rooster, you got to think about something. I don't know your time frame. I don't know your account size, anything like that. But when I get up $700, $800, $900, $1,000, I really try and make sure that I can guarantee that I'm going to finish the day a plus player. Now it's that what if factor that pushes us through that level. So let's say you're up $1,000 tomorrow, Rooster, and you're thinking about continuing to trade. You've been hot. It's been a good morning. Market seems to be aligning with your strategy. You seem to be sharp. You've got things going well. But just in case it doesn't happen, make sure you tell yourself, I'm only going to risk 50% of the current profit. If I lose 500 of this, I have to walk away. I'm still going to be up 500 on the day, and 500 on a day is a lot of money. People work really hard for $500. If you can maintain that. Now, I've had $1,000 days. I've had days with a lot more profit than that and ended up a loser on the day. It is disastrous to your mental capital and to your ability to continue to move forward, even the following day. That's venom that I find very hard to let go of. So I would be thinking, all right, I'm up 750. So if I lose 375, I'm still up 375. So maybe I should think about walking away if I lose that 375. It's hard to do because in the back of your mind, you know that you've done that before, and you know that you've come out of it, and that you've ended up making more money than the 750 you were up. But if you take a look at your history and you account for all of these things, I think you'll probably find that once you get to that level, you're probably going to be getting out of your strategy, and I believe you probably got out of your strategy today, Rooster, and it kind of, that first loss after that 750, you're thinking, okay, I got to get the next one. I got to get the next one. I got to get the money back. You get down to that 375 and you're like, okay, well, if I walk away now, I'm only going to make $375, which is a lot of money. So there's always that little devil on your shoulder saying, but what if the next trade's going to be a really good one? What if? So keep an accounting of when that little devil pushes you to that next level. What happens? generally speaking, even specifically speaking, what happens. If it takes you out of your plan, takes you out of your strategy, out of your process, you know you're stepping into an area that you don't want to get into. All right? All right, let's take a look here at the charts and we'll see what happened today. I'm going to start with the crude oil this afternoon. All righty, so we knew we had everybody on edge today. We added 11,000 yesterday on a push to the downside. We've attempted to accept below weekly kickoff low, which I think in large part we were unable to do so. Here's weekly kickoff low. We tried to close below it yesterday. We weren't able to. Today, the market really found support below that level, and we ended up with our better trade location, not on the open, a little bit after the open when we pushed lower and could not continue this move to the downside. We rejected below weekly kickoff low. We rejected below weekly kickoff low. We did get a pretty decent move to the upside, and we've settled approximately, I don't know, just a little bit higher today. 94.40, what was our settlement yesterday? 93.89. So maybe a 60 tick up move, nothing tremendous, and we are waiting for information tonight and tomorrow. Take a look at the E-mini S&Ps. Hey, the upside auction tired. We knew that. Lower volume and open interest yesterday. Okay. But what did we do today? We have created balance. Now, when we have an up move, and we had a pretty substantial up move, especially for this year, for the last 2 weeks, noticing a little bit of a change in the personality 2 weeks ago today, the market has been pushing higher. So the market's not going to go in one direction straight. It's always going to have pullbacks. We had a pullback the end of last week, the end of the first week, the beginning of last week. We continued to push to the upside. We're getting a little bit of a pullback or a balance here. When the market is directional, we're going to end up getting into situations where we may get pullbacks or we may just fall into range. And if we can't continue this move to the downside tomorrow, we are going to still be largely in that same range unless, of course, we open higher. Did we leave any breadcrumbs for us tomorrow? Not really. We had excess at the low. We have excess at the high. The low, basically the low from Friday, the high from Thursday. This was a kind of a weakness that we were kind of looking at and approached in Make Hogue Money. We didn't take a trade there, but it gave us the idea that this might be a little bit supportive. So, where did we go? Well, we tested last week's high yesterday. We tested last week's high today, and we came off a little bit. We're going to have a lower close, but I think we're still largely in range. Tomorrow morning, if we open in range, my focus is going to be the high from today or the low from today because it's already setting up really defined areas for balance to remain or for the balance to break and to have a breakout in either direction. We're still waiting for unemployment on Friday, which may or may not affect price. Nasdaq, very similar. I'm just going to go right to the 30 here. Range. Didn't quite get to that weakness area here in the Nasdaq. Nasdaq did present as stronger throughout the day today, but again, I think we're going to still have a slightly lower close here. Looking at the low from this bar, the close from this bar, 12,922. So yeah, we're going to have a lower close, but what did we do? We're still range bound. The purple line at the very top, Jackalope Hunter, I love that name, is last week's high. Extended trading hour high. Yep. You got it, Scott Saw. Jackalope Hunter, thanks for coming here and checking us out. Hopefully it's going to help you in your quest if you're not already a funded trader or a profitable trader. Hopefully we're going to make a difference to get you there. So, range bound, does it make sense? We do have information coming out on Friday and lots of folks on pins and needles today. Gold, I am so disappointed. Even though we had a lower day today, which that's the disappointment, we still have a higher low and a higher high. We're still one-time framing higher. What does one-time framing higher mean? Well, it means every successive bar has a higher high and a higher low. All right. Does that mean we've got lots of buyers? Well, typically that's what that's going to mean, and it also can mean that we've got all different time frames acting in concert against on price, not against. Now we just come out of rollover, so the open interest and volume is a little bit blurry, but we've seen at least some good momentum. I was really, hopeful we were going to see this market continue this move to the upside, at least for those of you that are long gold. We settled above weekly kickoff high here. We left the opening range at the high of the session. We had a pretty decent up move there, but boy, it didn't hold for very long. We stayed range bound in and around that. And then, we closed better than we had a higher close. The last price here, 1790.10, it's going to be pretty close to settlement. So we did move up just a little bit. 90.10, we had 87.70 settlement from yesterday. So we did actually close a little bit higher, ranged out, overlapping to higher value and regular trading hour session outright higher, and then things just fell apart at the end of the day. I think there was some of that dollar strength got into our gold market today. And that's what got into our euros as well. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days within striking reach of a breakout above weekly kickoff high. It has never happened. Now we get a dollar boost, and the overnight shorts just continued to get paid throughout the session today. We've got some weak structure with which to deal with down below here, a couple of naked points of control. And we're going to have to see how far we get to that. And the 10-year, finally, we get a jump in rates in the 10-year and all the treasuries today. So we see price plummet throughout the day. This was just a vicious move to the downside. It's been grinding higher, grinding higher, grinding higher. Last week's high right here, as soon as we opened above that, we had a lot of overnight longs. Those overnight longs brought us right back to settlement, right back below last week's high, and the sellers just would not relent all the way down today. So if you got short those treasuries, you had a really good day. Today's one of those days I wished I traded treasuries more often, but this all happened while I was busy doing something else. And then the nat gas. All this excess up here we discussed last week. We continue to see excess on highs in the daily chart. We see a boost in open interest yesterday of 3,100, but overlapping to lower range. Today, all overnight shorts. All those overnight shorts really just didn't have they didn't even have a minute to sweat. When the market opened at 8 o'clock, it just drove higher, pulled back, couldn't take out the high, and then to finish the day down on its lows. This market is so goofy. See what we can see here. We've got a whole bunch of unfinished, unrechecked, naked points of control all the way down. That move that occurred on the way up was very emotional and disorganized. Markets don't like disorganization. There's lots of visual targets to be looking at and focusing on for those that are trading the nat gas. It's going to be an interesting day. Week and I mean, these markets are always interesting. I don't know why I always say tomorrow's going to be an interesting day. They're always interesting. Speaking of interesting, on this day, actually, August the 2nd, delegates, members of Congress, affixed their signature to an enlarged copy of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. So all of the delegates finally got their signature on the Declaration of Independence on August 2nd, 1776. We also, in 1876, 100 years later, Wild Bill Hickok finally met his match in Deadwood, South Dakota. If you've ever been to Deadwood, South Dakota, it's pretty cool. There was one more here. I try and keep these things positive. Oh, 1992. Jackie Joyner-Kersee wins gold in the heptathlon again. 2 consecutive Olympic gold medals in the heptathlon. Jackie Joyner-Kersee. Not a lot of birthdays as far as people that I know in music. Maybe some of you do, but a lot of them are a little bit maybe older or younger than me. But in 2004, Eric Clapton saved a clothing store, a gentleman's clothing store based in London that had been there since 1839 and run into financial difficulties. The guitarist had been fond of the shop since a window display caught his eye when he was 16, and he'd become a regular shopper there. So he saved the store. But I think it's interesting. Cording's Gentlemen's Outfitters from closure. He saved them. They'd been there, again, since 1839. And, kind of similar, in 2000, the Liverpool music store, Rushworth and Draper, closed down after 150 years of trading, they call it. The store had become famous after supplying the Beatles and other Liverpool groups with musical instruments. 1986, on this date, Peter Cetera started a 2-week run at number 1 on the U.S. charts with the theme from the film Karate Kid 2, The Glory of Love. It made it to number 2 in the U.K. 1975, on this date, the Eagles went to number 1 on the U.S. singles chart with One of These Nights, the group's second U.S. number 1 single and the first to chart in the U.K., where it peaked at number 23. 1968, the Doors started a 2-week run at number 1 on the U.S. singles chart with Hello, I Love You, the group's second U.S. number 1. The Doors scored 8 top U.S. 40 hits from 1967 to 71. I've always been a fan of the Doors. Always been a fan. All right. All right, that's going to be it for our recap today. As always, I like to kind of keep things light, to talk about some other things and kind of get everybody wound down from the trading day. What do we have as far as earnings tomorrow? We have... Nothing too impactful in the morning. Regeneron Pharmaceuticals. Let's see, after the close... MetLife, nothing too huge tomorrow, just a long list. A lot of insurance companies, MetLife, Allstate, Sun Life Financial. We'll keep an eye on those anyways. So, have a good night. Jackalope, welcome. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow morning for the market forecast at 7:45. We'll be trying to put these markets in some sort of usable context. Talk about a couple of areas where we think we might be able to find fish in some of these markets, and we'll be all ready. If you joined me for Make Hogue Money today, thanks a lot for joining me. We went live today. We ended up with a small profit. That's always a good thing. And I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow on the forecast and group coaching tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central. Back to Make Hogue Money, 8:20 on Thursday. Get some rest today. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. Pray for peace and peace within yourself. Get out there and profit. If you're going to trade tonight, make sure you keep some of that powder dry so you can play with us tomorrow as well. Trade well, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel.